Back out here with the John Deere LT160 automatic project. If you're a follower of the channel, this is part 2 video, and the parts have arrived. Oh yeah. Okay, first thing I'm going to do in order is the fuel line, because there's no sense hooking up the carburetor to the old one. I was able to find a used fuel line cheap enough that it could easily justify the cost of replacing. Now let's see if that bolt, which is also corroded, wants to come off. Yep. I got lucky on every one of those. Nice. For those of you that don't believe me how much that corroded, here's another used one in perfect condition. There's no reason it should ever rust underneath there, and that's all from the mice. Put my clamp back on there. Good. Let that settle. Make sure I got it past where the clip goes, of course. Nice. Love it when stuff is ordered properly and is the right one, OEM. You know it's gonna fit. Love it. Pretty basic, but peace of mind now that I know it's not going to pop a hole and spray out onto the starter or the engine or any other thing. It's not the hottest part of the engine, probably the muffler would be, but dangerous nevertheless. Any fuel leaks. So I'm just looking over my replacement carburetor here. Fuel line on the right side. Okay, we're off to a good start. About the same size. This one's turned in a different position right now because it's completely stuck, whereas mine isn't, the new one. It's weird, it had kind of a space before it turned. I'm not even going to try to turn it. I noticed I got to take out this plastic. Do you call it a grommet, or what do you call it? I don't know. That plastic thing. I think we're pretty similar other than that. Just a word of note, most wrenches won't fit if you need to tighten this at all or remove it ever. That's the solenoid that shuts off the fuel when you let the key off. Anti-backfire device, I think they call it. Most wrenches will not fit there. I think it's 1/2 inch or something. You need to file it down flat, or just get one that's that small to begin with. There is a special one that you can buy that's extra flat, but don't try to turn it with this. If you do, you will break off the wires if you're just turning this and the other part isn't moving, and then you've screwed up, because now it won't release when you turn the key on, won't let fuel in. Other than that, we'll just look at which side, which gasket goes. There's 2 gaskets, and throttle plate. So we'll put the big fat gasket on this side, and that fits like it should. Good. Got you over here lined up with the engine. Let's put this little plastic thing we found in the other carburetor in there, and what that does is just make it the right size for the rod, and probably make it so it doesn't vibrate around, because this one doesn't use a spring. A lot of the Briggs Uses a spring to kind of help the chatter. This one has that plastic grommet, so it's just directly contacting. It's not loose in the hole. So let's get our little mouse-proofing, mouse-resistant plug out of there. A mouse could eat that easily. That's why I called it mouse-resistant. Get these both lined up. Get our gasket in there while we can. Perfect fit on that. Good. And it looks like everything's lining up the way it should. Got the fuel line here. I'm just reusing the same one. There's nothing wrong with it. A little harder than a new one would have been, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Good, good. Alright. Now, I cleaned this off camera if anybody remembered how much junk was inside it. Not to worry. It's been taken care of. And I'm going to put the little gasket here. Put this there. Good. Nice. Get you around the front here. Let's hook up the vent tube. And my hands aren't the pliers, so I'll get some. Where are they? Good. Brand new filter, which we had none before. And what did I just do with that nut? That wing nut. Bet you some of you see it and you're not telling me. Oh, you do. You do. You did tell me. Oh, thank you. Question is... Oh, wait a minute. I got more pieces. That may have been wrong. Some of you at home probably know exactly where that goes and what that is, but I have no idea. I mean, like, what would that... It was with my airbox. I have no idea where that goes. At least right now. Maybe it goes... Does it go from the airbox over? Oh. Got it. Okay, I stopped there for a second because I found this piece. Never seen this before. And I thought it maybe went underneath or something. It does not. It goes in the side of the airbox here and makes a seal to grab the air from the engine. So we'll just again have to clean that out. It gets filtered after that, but I'm going to clean that up. But okay, back to the way we were. So now that I see that this probably goes on after this piece, I don't know if you could probably slip it down there, but I'm just going to leave it off for now. Put that on last. Alright, as far as hooking the carburetor up, the other one had a bullet connector, which was into here, and the ground went to the one in the shroud there that we left loose. The new one is unpluggable at the solenoid, and it comes with a bullet connector wire that you can crimp on. I'm going to see if this one maybe fits this. Wouldn't that be lucky? Wow, I think it will. And then we just put the ground there and then plug it in. Nice. Got that one started. Just going slow on purpose. I think it goes from the bottom. Or was it the side? I think it goes from the bottom. Other way around. Well, probably right the first time. There it is. Or is it? That feels a little better. Alright. Kind of lame the way the positive still sticks out a little there. Doesn't look like it'll get into trouble, but I am going to get this off that muffler guard. This is shielding the muffler heat. We don't want that to short the ground, and I'm going to tape it just a little bit there, just to make me believe that'll never touch anything it shouldn't. Alright, now on to the ignition coil. In this case, I went with the original Kohler. A lot of these other parts you're seeing me put on are aftermarket. I just didn't want to have any problems with fitment or any other issues like that. Whoa! She likes it. As far as setting up that new coil, all I'm doing is using the business card they sent me for a spacer. I think they're usually around 10 thousandths, and that's usually close enough for what we need. Zip these down, and then I'm going to only tighten these by hand. I'm going to get a hand ratchet actually. I want to make sure I'm not going to snap these off at the last minute here and cause myself an issue. Good. Then you just roll it a little bit, get that out, check your clearance. You should have just a hair. And we do. And if I didn't show it already, down there, I just made a loop in that wire, pulled it up with the zip tie. I just didn't like the hot wire being on that heat shield. I don't know if it really gets hot enough to burn the rubber off the wire or not, but we're not going to test it out. The ground wire doesn't matter. If it grounds out, it's grounded anyway. No problems. As far as the wire, ignition wire, I just ran it down. I assume that's the way it was, and into the plug. We're going to put a new Champion plug in there. Brand new. This one's RC12YC. You got to use the little adapter for this one. It's kind of rare. Let's see if we can get this lined up. Oh yeah. Good. Might as well put that on now. Nice satisfying snap. Alright. So the last thing we got is the kill wire for the coil, which goes here, and ours ends there, or maybe there. It's got a little clip here. I don't think we'll have to go back that far. I'm just going to try to strip it, and we'll see. Looks like it actually has a heat resistant coating over it. A heat resistant sleeve. Interesting. I'm going to make that one happen. Anyway, I'm going to cut it back here and get onto some good wire. We'll have to replace the wire and then figure out what we're going to do about a sleeve. Go big first, get the sheathing off. I don't expect much corrosion, otherwise I would be cutting it back to whatever length that would be. I think that's nickel wire actually, probably for high heat. Looks silvery rather than copper, or it's tin coated copper, don't know. So here's what I've got. I've just got the wire with the connector on it. I may have to smush that down a little bit. We'll see if it's going to hold. I'm just going to work backwards. So okay, don't need any longer than that. Cut this. Boy, those things are bad. Oh, jeez. We've all done it. You get your favorite pair. Okay, I'm just going to use some heat shrink tubing I have. I don't have proper sheathing that they have, which is probably fiberglass. It'll have to do. First, I'm going to establish our length needed by getting the factory wire crimped in. Good. And then, actually, yeah, this really shouldn't come in contact with that head at all. Looks like it'll be hanging out in midair. The other one was a 90-degree flag terminal. For some reason, I don't have those, which would have made it an even shorter run and more direct right to the source. Alright, let's go about there. Way too long. Wow, are those getting dull. Now I'm going to slip over my heat shrink tube, which I've estimated to be about that long needed. Okay, I think we'll be alright. I don't know, will it go over the whole thing? No, won't go over that. That's what I was afraid of. Will it bunch up to go? Nope. Okay, I'm going to have to cut it shorter. Hoping to be able to put it past and then slip it back over. Now let's see where this is getting us. The stuff on a roll is kind of flattened out. It's kind of hard to work with. Nope, still needs shorter. Bring it back when I get it. Okay, so I've got it sticking out there about, I don't know, half an inch. That way I'll be able to slip it down past when I get it hooked up. Good. Now if I shrink this down, I think I might be able to even get that over that to weatherproof it. I don't know if it'll really go over. Let me shrink the blue thing down first. Whoop, whoop. There's really no weather in here. I'm just saying, you know, condensation, corrosion, whatever. You don't want any of that in there. If this wire fails, what would happen is the engine would not be able to shut off. You'd have to pull the spark wire or choke it or do some other means and I just nibbled the end of that heat shrink with the heat. Not good. Now I'm going to have to clip that end piece off to get the rest to slip over. That was careless. There we go. Now it's as big as it can be. Let's see if I can get that to, yeah, go over the whole thing. Even better. Again, it's sticking out a little at the top, but I'd rather have that covered properly down near the heat, whereas this is kind of sticking up in midair. Not really going to get the heat like it would down there. Okay, let me heat that heat shrink. That'll at least give it some more protection, being that I don't have the proper sleeving that it would have came with. I just got a hold of some larger sleeving. This way I can go from, oh yeah, it just fits over that connector. Oh wow. Okay, this way I can go the whole way. But I don't know that I'm going to be able to push this wire the whole way, because it starts flat and you got to make it round when you're sticking the wire through. Let's try to preform it a little bit there. That wire is awful flexible. It doesn't want to push. I'll get that to slip down and bring you back. Okay, I've got that larger one over both repairs now. That'll just give me a little more assurance that this thing won't melt as easily, I'm sure. We'll probably super shrink that shrink tubing, huh? That's all I got, so it's what's going to have to work. Probably isn't necessary, being that it's up here in the air, which should be cool air going down, but let's just be sure it's happy. This I'm going to squish a little bit. There we go. Nice. One ignition coil ready to fire. For those sharp-eyed fans, you might see this later, so I'll just show you. I'm going to actually put this on top of the fuel line, which is where it may have been originally. Why let it rest all the way down on the head or the cylinder wall there if not necessary? I think that's going to be better. That'll hold it up there. That's the part the only part that was touching. I've said it in some of my other videos, but always put things back the way the factory did. You know, if the factory put a clip there, put a clip there. If the factory ran the wire over. In this case, I don't know, because this part was eaten completely off, and I've replaced that, so we don't really have a factory thing to go with, but they know exactly how to make them so they last, and always go by whatever you see. Just put it back the same way and you'll be just fine. Still finding debris and stuff that I don't want. Debris like this is no big deal, but if it weighs something, you throw that flywheel a little bit out of balance, and that's not what you want to do. Alright. You ever been working on a project and you're working, and all of a sudden you realize, hey, I'm damn near done. Well, I just had that revelation, and that's a good feeling. Try to figure out how everything lines up, what goes inside of what. Actually, does that spark wire supposed to come out here? Maybe it doesn't go down and around. Let me see if it reaches. Again, that's what happens when a mouse has had its way. Yeah, I think it goes up through here. Didn't know that. That way it doesn't get any heat. Okay. That's what happens when a mouse ate it before you got a chance to look at it. Seems to me like this whole thing, let me show you what I'm looking at. This needs to go forward, but it can't. Pull this thing. Okay. I pulled this piece at the front, which it goes into. Let me back you out there a little bit. Maybe you can see what I'm dealing with here. It just seems like it's not far enough forward. Oh yeah, that's much better now. Much better. Okay, so we got to line up this, all the holes got to line up. This one, back. Okay, we're in good shape. Much more concentric. I'm going to start with these because they don't really have any play. This kind of locates the whole cover, and then these other ones have up and down and left and right. Tighten. There it goes. Now let's figure out what bolts go to what. And all these other holes. This one should be just a regular bolt. Probably like that one. And that one's stripped if that was the right bolt. Probably the longer one out of my handful here is going to be for this one because it goes through the dipstick tube and then some other stuff. That's a different size even. Well, I think I snapped that one. Or the little clip that's in it. Heard that nice pop noise. Now I'm getting gentle. Like that one just goes from one tin to the other, so there's just one of those little push nuts on there. You could snap those things in a half a second. Now the last one is the one that we need the washer and the special hex. And was there... No, that goes to the battery. Was that it? I guess so. Let me get the tool for that. And if there's any bolt you want to make sure is good, it's that one because it's got the ground for this, which is located on plastic of all things, which wouldn't get a ground by itself. You'd probably burn it out if without a ground. Some of those are like that. I don't know if that one is, but I've seen it happen. Alright, I've got my rubber grommet in. I think we got ourselves an engine. Check that out. Alright, let's hook up a jumper. I don't feel like taking another battery out right now from something else. Get that going. Keys. Okay, go rub your magic lamps, your leprechauns, whatever you're into. Let's see, that was the brake, I think. Give it some choke. And I'm just using whatever gas they got in here, which as you can see, it's going to take a while to pump up because that whole line comes from under the seat. So let's see what happens. Try to get you the real shot here. I think that fuel pump is pretty sorry. I don't know if it's pumping anything. Get you right down there. Okay, I'm going to prime it because I can see we're going to go through a battery or a starter real quick here without fuel flow. God knows when the last time this thing ran was. I saw a little splash though, so at least it's got a sign of hope. Let's try again. Now I got the air cleaner off. I'm going to spray it while it's trying to start. Well, I'm trying to start it. Okay, excellent news. It runs. Less exciting news. I don't think we have hardly a drop of fuel coming from the tank. Let's look into that. Here's that see-through fuel filter. I saw a splash when you guys were looking, but I don't see much more. So these fuel pumps are known to be crap, but let me just double check to make sure. I'm pretty sure it had fuel. Yeah, I can see the fuel in the tank. You can see that dark line going. So we got fuel. Is it vapor locked? I don't know. No. Looks like the hole is open. Okay. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to blow from the tank up and make sure we have no restrictions up to this point. Usually once you get these flooded with fuel, they'll go again. Unless the diaphragm is just popped. If it's just dry, once you get it wet again, it'll probably come back. So let me just pull this off before the filter, see if we have any flow, make sure we don't have a big clog or something up against the filter. Alright, I'm going to take the clamp loose here. I just want to try to see if I can blow air into the tank. There we go. Yeah, there's a couple splashes in there, but not much. Let me put something underneath that. I'm going to blow into it and make sure we got a clear path from the tank. See what we get. Ooh, it's looking nasty. It's looking cloudy. Not good. Now I'm not sure if that big ball of stuff came out of there or if that was from when I pulled the pan back out, but if that was in there, that will surely clog it up. But anyway, it is cloudy, it is full of water. That gas ain't going anywhere. I gotta get it out of there. So you might ask, how do you get fuel out of a tank? I tried putting some air in there, that didn't work. You can't get the regular fuel sucker battery operated thing down there because it's got a weird neck and most of the fuel is sitting down and underneath and you can't get to it. So I took my airbed pump. You know, don't do what I do, but I'm telling you what works. I put an airbed pump hose here, covered that over, and just kept blasting it, kept emptying my pan. But here's what I noticed. When I came back around, I see wet grass, and there was some fuel coming from up there. So I wonder if I don't have a bad line up there, and if it's bad, it's just going to suck air, not fuel. We're never going to get fuel. It'll suck what's the easiest. So I don't think that tank should have another vent because it has the vented gas cap. So I may have to take this pan off if we can't get this thing to prime up. I bet you there's a fuel line issue there. Okay, I'm going to bring back up the fuel hose. Pull away the fuel now. Let everything dry off a minute before I go and try to hit that starter because the starter's right behind it. Alright, got you back. We got a full tank of fuel. We got as much of that old stuff out as possible. I'm not seeing any making its way to that filter. I think the mice might have got us ×2. I think they might have eaten the fuel hose where it comes out of the tank in the back. That's going to be my next guess, because this thing can't suck fuel. Whether it could be a bad pump, but being that this thing was infested with mice, I'm kind of suspecting something along that lines. Got you back here looking at the fuel tank. Here's the tank. This tank actually looks like it comes out the bottom. I didn't know that. I thought you had to take the fenders off or something. Doesn't look like they come off. Bolt, bracket, bolt. So I think it can come out the bottom. Let's see. I don't know how much play the fuel line is going to have, but that looks like how this one is supposed to come out. Oh boy, those are on there. There it goes. Were they smart enough to not put a nut on the back and just thread the thing? Only time will tell. No, they weren't. Get that bracket off. I think these all have nuts on the back of them. How stupid. Bring it back when I get it. Alright, I got the side bracket off. Let's push this in to get it out of our way. Still working on these ones. Bring you back. Alright. That's it. I want you backed off. There you go. Okay, so this model, it looks like this doesn't come off like a lot of the older ones. This thing has to come up over the bolts and drop down. It's got a recessed area here where the bolts come out. Looks like you don't take the bolts all the way out. It just kind of hangs on there like those picture hangers or those keyhole slots. Now I got it full of gas though, of course. Not exactly sure how to get that out. Okay, I lifted up hard and I heard something go bing, some spring or some clip came flying out there. I didn't even know where it went. Let's see what happens though. Something's still holding it. Must be some special angle that makes it able to come out. maybe I have to take this wheel off to get it out. Don't know. I'll take the wheel off just to maybe I can get my head up in there and see. So I'm going at this plan. Just like any plan, it seems like a good plan when you first start. Or else you wouldn't have started, right? Let's see if this wheel is seized on here with reckless abandon, or if she's going to give up. Oh, that's sweet when that happens. Don't lose your flywheel key. Where did mine just go? Or your, oh, it's still in the wheel. Okay. There's a key stock in there that makes that wheel engage. Now, does that get us down any farther? Not really. How is this supposed to come apart? This is welded. It's welded at the top. There's some magical position that thing needs to be into. Sorry, I got you down there. To come out. And I have not yet discovered what that position would be. I'm going to show you how I get mine out, and you leave a message down in the comments to show me the right way. My way and the right way. Oh yeah. Oh, wait till you get a close-up of this. You're going to love it. Look at that. Can you see that elbow? Somebody bit that open, and it's not going to draw from the tank. It's just going to draw air from now on. That may be why the tractor was parked in the first place. Don't know if that other shot really illustrated it, but you can see that used to be probably square, and now it's a 45-degree angle, and there's a hole right through it. So instead of sucking fuel, which would be harder, it's just going to suck air right to the engine. So at this time I'm going to assume the fuel pump is probably okay. It just can't suck anything but air. That's why I was only seeing a splash, because probably that's what was in the fuel line from years ago, and it won't draw anything up through this little intake tube. So I'm going to have to get one from Deere, because it only fits this model, I'm sure. So here's where we're at today. This part, as I've had problems with ordering other parts, comes up under the 160D model instead of the LT160, which this has a weird model number. So if you're looking yours up, you might have to go under the 160D to get the straight one. The other one was all crooked and goes in over by the tank. This one, the tank isn't even the right drawing. I don't know what's wrong with they're usually pretty good about getting the right parts. But anyway, this I had to look up under 160D, and I think that gives me the right part number. There was a part for Husqvarna that's just this part, but what are the odds that everything is exactly the same diameter, and could I really get this tube off of there, and possibly with heating, but current prices were like 34 bucks, something like that for this, which is just ridiculous. But you need it. I'm not going to try and glue it, or you could probably melt that back together if you're real crafty. But the thing is, the second it fails, your mower becomes garbage. It won't start right. It won't run right. It's not going to run at all, possibly, if you get a big enough leak. So no reason to tempt fate. Just buy the piece. Okay, so I'm at a standstill on the other things, so let's work on this. That's sometimes what you have to do. Order all the parts you think you need, and then you still need more. Is what it is. So luckily, aftermarket, because John Deere wants to charge too much, they make this new plastic hinge kit with the little grommets and the little things and all the hardware and U-clips and all that. So lucky day for me, I don't need a whole new hood, which I thought I needed if I wanted it to work. I only need this, which was a fair price, so I bought it aftermarket. Smaller? Really? Yes, even smaller than that. Is it metric? Oh, I bet you it's metric. Alright. However you want to go, hood. I don't mind going aftermarket. I mean, I'm a big believer in buying the American John Deere stuff, but probably it's not American anyway, and it breaks. So if they want to make it like that, then we'll just buy the aftermarket, not to support them in the future. Okay, trying to remember how this comes apart. So I hopefully remember how it goes back. Alright. Easy enough. Okay. Those pieces are still good, no reason to replace them. Little rubber washers or grommets. I'll just leave those in the bag. I'm sure the OEM are better anyway. Don't go crazy on that. That's just plastic. Alright, not bad. Let's take these broken bits off. Would they both all be the same size? Like that one? They would. Is it a US size or is it at that 14? I'm going with US on that one. Might be half. Got me. Should probably use the pliers. Bring it back. That's much kinder on my hand. I'm going to try to get these little plastic bits out. I'll just use the original hardware. It's probably better than the cheap stuff that came with the kit. Actually, it makes completely more sense if these go on the plastic. Bolt goes through the metal, up into the hood. That's probably why they were on an angle. They have to be. That's why the witness marks on the metal on the tractor was on an angle, because that's how they go in. Let's try it again. I did the underneath ones first. I'm not going to go crazy tightening those things. And I just noticed that the washer fell out of this one. I'll put it on there. That way I've been much more even clamping force. Nice. Hey, pretty good color match for aftermarket. And no hood installation would be complete without a new clip. This side is broken off. Let that piece fall. This part I got OEM because they were cheap enough. How does that go through? This way? There we go. And I'm just going to put the screw. Oh, do you see that? What I was trying to show there is you can see the marks where they had originally tightened down the first screw. Instead of trying to adjust it 50 times up and down, let's just assume that is a good spot. Nice. So unless you have every part for every machine ever made, this is what happens sometimes, where you have to just let it sit and wait for the parts to come in. That's where I'm at today. Yeah, it's usually not a problem as long as somebody ain't breathing down your neck, and this one happens to be my own, so nobody's getting angry that you're taking too long or whatever. It's kind of nice to work on your own stuff sometimes. So waiting for the fuel tank pickup tube to come in. Still have to check the deck, the hydro, the belts, the pulleys, the idlers, all the stuff for that. Make sure the carburetor runs right, runs the engine right. And other than that, I hereby declare at least the work I did for today Wildwood certified. Thanks for watching.